Okay, it looks like we are streaming, so let's test this baby out. I'm going to pull my phone up, see what I've got. Streaming it. There we go. We are live. So apparently I have a delay. That's fine. And we're going to go. There we go. We are live. A very large delay. That's messed up. All right. Well, that's good to know. So I don't know how I'm going to talk without getting confused. I guess I have to mess with that a little bit. All right, frame rates are pretty slow, but that's okay. All right, we're going to get jumped into this thing. So, hey, I am Ken. I'm the artist for The Diner, and this is our series Order Up. This is episode 15. We're going to learn to build the metaverse, part 2. So let's build the metaverse again. I want to talk today about a couple of programs that I use and that my team uses to create our portion of the metaverse. So basically what we do is use Sketchup, which is a free 3D modeling program, to create the architecture that we put into the metaverse, and we use Spatial as our point of entry into the metaverse. So Spatial is the platform to upload our architecture to and then create interactive environments from. So after I use SketchUp, I'll show you how to export as a GLB file. You could use FBX, GLB, GLTF. There's a few other file formats you can export as. So make sure you're using a program that you can export those file formats in. And then we'll put those into Spatial. I'll show you one of our environments in Spatial. And then we'll jump into, well, I'll put the headset on and you guys will watch me. I'll live stream from my headset. So let's jump into it. We're going to go to SketchUp, and I'd really like to show you guys just right now how, here's a really simple building that I've created. Let's go to a new one and see if SketchUp actually lets us, or OBS will catch that or not. I don't think it will. No, it definitely won't. Okay. So we are going to use this. I'm going to zoom out. We'll just rebuild this, and then I'll save it as something else. Okay. So I've deleted that. Well, we're using SketchUp Make 2017. If you want to use a free version, I think you have to get SketchUp Make 2017, maybe 19. I'm not sure if they made it in 2019 or not. Well, the first thing I want to do here is set up a ground plane, because when you teleport into Spatial, you need something to stand on. If you just build your building, you can teleport onto the top of it, but you need an entryway into it. So you can do some fun things with that, but I'm going to create a ground plane. I like to use a circle because it looks kind of like the horizon, so you can see what looks like the horizon. So I'm going to go over to where it says sides, and I'm going to give my circle 60 sides because it'll be higher resolution and look a lot better. So make that pretty big. Spatial allows you to create a 200 meter by 200 meter ground plane, and I'm not sure what the height is that you could use, but it's 200 meters is pretty big. So there. I like to add a little layer around the outside, so you'll see what that becomes later. Now, here you see a gray ground plane, and on the bottom it's white. We need to reverse those faces. And the reason we need to reverse those is that a white plane means that that's the mesh side that you could touch in Spatial. The gray side, you just everything passes through it. If you don't pay attention to adding color, you might not see the object that's there. So we're just gonna, here's what I'm doing. I'm right-clicking on that face. This menu pops up. And just go to reverse face. It's I won't do that to the outside yet. I'm going to use my push-pull tool. Go, not that one. I'll use the select to click off of the middle and then click on this and drag that up. Yeah, 3.5 inches looks pretty good. So that's not a very thick curb. I like to put a curb in so you can see where you're going. That's 9 inches. That's good enough. All right. Okay, so we're not going to color anything yet. I like to wait until I have almost everything created to color. All right, the next thing we want to do is create our building. I'm going to show you, I'll show you how to create a rectangular building. I like to make very round buildings, but just for the sake of simplicity. Oh, what I just realized is you guys probably, yeah, you can't see the tool set that I'm using. I'll close this and I'll use the tool set up here. Alright, so I'm going to get the rectangle tool, which is right here. You could also get multiple shapes out of that, but we're going to start at the, pardon me, I'm tired. The axes, and in the bottom right corner you can see how big this object is that you're making. So we'll make something like this. Alright, so 45 feet long by 30 feet wide. Now I want to multi-click on there with the select tool, and I'm going to get the move tool, which is this, and I'll just select the center, or pretty much the center of that, and move that toward the center of my whole ground plane. Alright, now if I just drag that up, you get this, rectangular prism, looks like a building. But if I go to the bottom, there's no floor here. That's definitely not what I want to do to myself or this building. So Control Z that baby, or on a Mac, Apple key Z. There's something else I want to do. Oh, yeah, here's a shortcut. If you have your orbit tool, which is the two arrows chasing each other, and you hold shift, you get the pan tool, and that just helps you move around. Orbit goes in multiple directions, so pan side to side and up and down. That's just a really quick way to figure out where you're going. Okay, so, there's two reasons I'm about to do what I'm going to do. One, you just saw what happened if I pulled this rectangle up. It creates a rectangular prism. And I'll do that again and show you from the other side what I mean. So here we have what looks like a wall, and it's white, so from the outside, what you're looking at is an interactive mesh. But on the inside, let's just zoom in. So we just pass through that wall, and now that's gray. That's a major problem. And you go from a white wall on the outside to a gray wall on the inside. There's no way you can make the outside and inside this natural white, because Sketchup tells you one side's white, one side's gray, so you know what side is the outside, what side is the inside. All right. You also want in your spatial, or in the metaverse, you want to have walls that seem realistic. So generally, a wall is not paper thin. You're going to walk up to a wall and be right outside. Even my Airstream has a 3.5 inch thick wall. So this paper thin thing isn't going to work. So I'm going to Windows or Apple key Z that, and go back to one of my other favorite tools here. So this is the offset tool. I'm going to go inside the rectangle, click and drag in. So 1 foot is probably a little too much, so I'll zoom in, and let's just go 8 inches is fine. Okay, now what I have is this exterior wall around my interior rectangle. If I get the push-pull tool now, which is that box with the arrow coming out of it, I can click and drag that up. I'm watching how tall that is in the bottom corner. And now, there we go. So what you see from the bottom won't really matter, because, yeah, you won't see it. It's below the ground plane. Now, you can build below ground in spatial. So if you build something any piece of architecture that has a basement or below level spaces, you could build under this. So you'd have to pay attention to the thickness of a floor, or making sure, yeah, you'd probably want a thickness to a floor, because if you point your controller into what was gray in SketchUp, your controller will go through it. So you could go back through the roof of something, which, you know, maybe could be fun in some ways. You could hide something that way. I would say give a thickness to every wall and floor that you create. Okay, so we've created the interior of the building. Let's put a door on the front. So you could use your line tool here. Just make sure that you start at the bottom, go up, make sure your door is tall enough for people to go through. I'll go, I clicked on 8 feet, 9 and 3/16 of an inch. So I can now type in 8, then the apostrophe, which stands for feet. If you are anyone who's not American, use the much more sensical system of metric system, because that's probably going to be better and easier to use. I've now created my rectangle, and I can click with my push-pull tool, drag back to where it says on the face, and release, and that gets rid of that door. It clean cuts it, and you notice we have white edges all the way around. So this is good. That's good to go. You don't have to change anything. All right, now I want to put windows in. Now what I like to do is measure up from the ground, because I've noticed a lot of spaces in the metaverse, not just spatial, but all over the metaverse, especially when I used to use Second Life, where buildings were designed much larger than they actually should have been. And when you walked around it as your avatar, it was very hard to navigate, and it wasn't very fun to look at, because everything felt either way too big or too small and just wasn't built to scale. I like to build to scale. I want to make sure the bottoms of my windows are in a place where my avatar, when my avatar is standing near the window, I'm looking out of it, and it's not like way up here at my eye height. Then I feel like a child. You know, I want the window to be waist height. So 1 foot is not quite tall enough, so I'm going to go up to about 2 feet. Click, just type 2, apostrophe, boom, there we go. All right, now that is the height that I want all of my work to be from now on. All right, so just click there. I'm going to create a circular window, because I like round things. So I'm going to go up from there, I guess, to here, and then it'll, if you look in the bottom right corner, it will show me the radius of my circle. So it's saying it's 2 feet. That gives me a 4-foot circle. That means the top of that window is 6 feet tall, which is at the top of my head. I want it to be bigger. So I don't really want to start there. I'll just do that and then undo that. So we go up further, and I'm going to create a window that is now going to be 6 feet tall and 2 feet off the ground. It's going to be a huge window, but that's okay. I'm not sure I want it right at this corner. That's a pretty big window to have in my corner. So I'm going to get my select tool, double click inside the circle, select that line that I used as my measuring device, and then move that over. Now the reason I did that and left it on that stick is because now I can take this lollipop window and use that as my anchor point. So I just copied and I'm pasting, so Control C, well, on a Mac it's not window key, Apple key C and Apple key B. So I could measure these all out perfectly. Right now I don't really feel the need to. Alright, that's good. Now I want to punch these windows out. To remember to go slowly tomorrow, because I think, oh no, it's not doing too badly. Yeah, it is pretty bad, isn't it? I've got to figure that out, and I think that's due to my internet connection. If could set this all up in the, I don't know if you're still there, Phoenix. If I could set this all up in the office and have a hard wire into my Mac, this would be a lot better. And the color is way off on my camera, so I'm not sure what happened to that. And also there's a huge delay. I've got to figure out how to change this delay. I don't want a delay on my, I'm going to get really confused if this delay stays. Oh, it sounds like you're hearing this faster than I am. You're responding to things before I hear them on my phone. Weird. I'm going to do a count. Type in just the word yes right now. Wow. 24-second delay. That's crazy. Alright, so we're going to get back to this. So I'm now using I filled in the windows. Well, actually just the outside, right? So I filled those back in by just drawing lines across the circle. And now I'm using my push-pull tool to inset the, there we go, just to inset what's going to become the pane of the window. So notice on the outside that's white, on the inside it's gray. And there's a couple ways I could solve this problem that I'm about to tell you. If you're on the inside of this now and you want to navigate outside, you can just point your controller at the outside and then just go there through the window, which is crazy, but whatever. If I want to fix that problem, or if I see it as a problem, which I sometimes do, I could draw on there. Erase that. And just inset that a little bit. I don't want to go all the way to that because then it'll delete the whole window. But notice now I have white on that side and white on that side. There's a little bit of a space between those two. So I'm going to play with that idea, just so you can see what I'm doing when I get into VR. I'll delete this and use the push-pull tool. Boom, boom, and boom. All right, wonderful. Okay, I have white all around. I don't care about putting anything else in here. You know what? I'll put a table in here. I'll just build it into the floor. I'm going to make a really, really quick table. I'm going to make it a rectangular. No, I'll make it a polygon. I'll do, yeah, hexagon's good. All right, so there. And I want that to be about 3 feet tall because currently people online don't have the same height in spatial as people in a headset. So I'm just gonna keep it 3 feet, and hopefully that means, you know, people who are online on their phone or on a PC would be able to see that, and it'd be a good height for them. Okay, good. We are done. Let's call that good, and now I can color, so I'm going to add textures. Actually, I want to create a walkway, like a pathway out here. So I'll do this. So I'm hovering over that. I'll show you what I'm connected to this, but I haven't clicked. I just hovered there, and that gives you that dotted line to figure out where you are. One thing I forgot to tell you in the beginning is the axes are blue, green, and red. So if I'm drawing like this, I don't really know where my line is or if it's even on the ground. That was. But sometimes they're not on the ground. So a black line, if you're starting on a face and going to something that has a face, you should be good. It should be on the ground. But you see how that was red? Here's green. That will give you, as soon as you create a line, as long as the one that's parallel to, it'll give you a guide. Okay, now if I click on that and go, that's blue, that means I'm drawing up. And sketch up. Alright, so there we go, and I was drawing red, so I could make a beveled edge here if I want to, and if I want to make that my another building here, I could just do that. The problem is now, oh no, it actually worked. Okay, I don't want any of that though. I just wanted to show you an example. All right, so that's the line tool. Anyway, there's the sidewalk. Now I'll get the paint bucket. And can you see the paint? No, you can't. So what I need to do is add in one more property here. Hang on, I'll get you to see it. Window capture. Textures. Hang on. Is that what it's called? That's not it. No. No. Hmm. Let's cancel that for now and see what this is called. Colors. It is called colors. Okay. Hang on. I'll get it. I'll get it for you. Let's see color. You might just have to take my word for this. So delete that. Well, yeah, I really don't think that's going to work. Hmm. Dang. There's no way to do it. Well, I'll delete this. You can imagine how it could be done. and I want to do